So we're going to begin video 7 of chapter 8, forecasting, right? So in the last video, I asked you guys to try to complete this table with error, mean square error, mean absolute error, and mean absolute percentage error, right? So to calculate error here, you have the formula on top. Try to do again by yourselves first, and then watch this video later. So demand minus forecast will be 85 minus 94, which is minus 9. And we need to do the same thing for all of them, right? So 100 minus 93 is going to be equal 7, and so forth, so on. So we can kind of complete all the errors. Not a problem to have negative values here, okay? Then we need to do the squared error. So that will be basically minus 9 times minus 9, which will be equals to 81. So that's a mean square error. That's the square error. 49 for 7 times 7, 49, 25, 0, 81, 49, and 36, right? So just taking here the error and multiplying by itself. So for the mean square absolute error, we're going to take the error here and just do the absolute value of that, right? So we can just take the error there. It's going to be the 9, 7, 7, 5, 0, 9, 7, and 6, right? Same thing that you have here, but absolute value. For the mean absolute percentage error, we need to take the absolute error, so the 9 that we have here, which is 85 minus 94. And then we take this and divide it by the demand, which is 85. And the number that we're going to have here as a result is a percentage. Okay? So the upper part is the error, lower part is the demand, and we have the percentage. Same thing here. We can do 7 because we already calculated the absolute error here, divided by the demand is going to give me the 7%. And then I can just fill out for the other ones. So for the mean square error, mean absolute error, and mean absolute percentage error, I just take the mean of this, right? So the mean is going to be 46.25, and just taking sum all those numbers and divide by 8. Sum all those numbers, divide by 8. 8 is n because that's the number of months that I have. So n is going to be the number of observations. If you go back to the formula here, it's an average, right? So we're just taking that error that we calculated and divided by n. Okay. So it's 6.25, and the mean absolute percentage is going to be 7%. Okay. So now we have the answer for all those. You guys know how to calculate error. Okay. Next slide is the questions that you have to answer in the team assignments, and I got all or most of the team assignments by email. Thank you very much for sending that to me. I'll be grading that as soon as possible. I think next week I can give you grades for that. So the first questions about chapter 8 are in terms of understanding how can my company do the forecast, right? So what is the unit of measure? It's going to be pounds, items, box, customers. What are they going to use to build a forecast? What is important for them to know and make sense? What are the patterns that I can expect to happen if a horizontal trend, cyclical or season patterns? And what is the frequency? Daily, weekly, monthly, or annually, right? So what are the patterns that have? They have every day. They have based on the day, and if you guys have a business that is, for example, food or like a restaurant or something like that, remember what we did when we looked at the demand on Google Maps? Let's do it quickly again. So if you guys remember when we talked about waiting lines, we did this, right? So I open Google Maps here, and it has selected Starbucks location, and you go down here and you can see the demand occurring. So now if you want to know about uh, the forecasting, right, the repeatability of that, you can see that, Thursdays and Fridays, how different it is, right? So you can see Wednesdays the demand, and then Tuesday the demand, on a Monday. So you can see that's repeatable. There are some patterns that are repeating on the daily basis. So on Mondays and every day of the week is similar, but there are also things that are a little bit different from one day to another. It seems that some days here, for like a Thursday, the demand in the morning is higher, and maybe in a Sunday we prefer not to wake up so early, so the demand is not that spiky on the morning here. So you have some differences that occur from day of the week to another day of the week, but you have similarities that occur from day to day, right? And you can do the same thing with Publix to see what is the demand going on. Now is not too busy. You guys can go there. There's not many people there, but Sundays it'll. No one wants to do a grocery store on a Sunday morning. It goes up, and then other days can have kind of different patterns where it's a weekday. It increase near noon time, and then increase when people get out of work as well, uh, closer to dinner time, right? So going back to our questions, they'll understand what patterns my company will have, and also what are the demand management decisions that my business can take to actually cope with that demand patterns, right? So what things we can do to smooth that demand, so demand can be closer to my capacity. Okay.